Yep.
Record here in a second.
I just started it, so we're cool. Let's go.
Let's fucking go.
Oh man,
So
then I got sad again because I thought about the Packers.
Bruh. So probably
I don't say MHA
Black Clover.
first.
MHA, Black Clover, JJK, or MHA, JJK, BC.
I feel like the first order.
All right. MHA, Black Clover, JJK. Got it.
MHA first.
Yeah.
MHA.
MHA. Just
like I'm being a real millennial talking with my acronyms. LOL.
Bruh.
AOT, MHA, DBZ.
I don't know whether I'm enjoying this or hating it. And I can't. I don't know.
It kind of just went real well and real smooth, so it's just like, wow, that actually was pretty good.
Cool.
Ready.
Yeah.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Oh yeah, I forgot for the Skype. I pressed a little early. I forgot about that when we do the.
We're just here. We're synced. Tawana and I did that last week too.
I'm not wearing my Dragon Ball shirt. I can't do it.
Ridiculous. What's up, feasters? Welcome back to another great episode of the Anime Feast. I am Dominique, and with me, as always, we have Tawan.
What up, guys? It's gonna be a acronym intense kind of episode for us today.
I hope not. And Matthew.
What up, everybody? I'm gonna try and not use any acronyms.
Why?
He's gonna use one within the first 5 minutes. Watch.
Probably. We're gonna talk about MHA, first acronym right there.
But yeah, guys, today we are diving into our anime reviews. It's been a while. For those of you, yes. Sorry, I said anime, didn't I? Our manga reviews. It's been a while since we've done some of those. One Piece is on a break this week, so we're not diving into that. But we're going to go over My Hero Academia, Black Clover, and JJK. It's My Hero Chapter 341, JJK Chapter 172, and Black Clover Chapter 320. It's a lot of chapters.
It's a lot of chapters, and they were all fantastic this week.
Yeah, I very much enjoyed them. Especially Black Clover. Like Black Clover was very good for me because it had been kind of well, I don't want to say it had been.
When's the last time Black Clover?
Black Clover was good. My bad. I meant My Hero, which is what we're gonna start. My Hero has been very recently, and now it's finally looking like it's gonna get back to what we want.
It's been more going back in the background character, not even background characters, just like backstories and just like setting up for the final fight.
Yeah, it's been. Oh, good.
I was gonna say, is it the fun? Do you think this is gonna be like the final arc before, like, I guess, like how Deku will do like a monologue over and be like, and that's how I became the #1 hero.
Oh yeah, this is definitely gonna be it.
I mean, technically they still have like a couple more years in the school too, but I think they're just gonna gloss it over.
Yeah. Also, it might be like, with other animes where they like show like a future stuff, kind of like with Naruto, and they're still doing like a spin-off anime or manga for My Hero, which is like Vigilante.
Mm-hmm.
So that might be like a transition there, or they are going to come out with My Villain Academia, aren't they? I thought that was going to be a thing. Maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm totally mistaken, but I see it going in that route. Or, they could be super frustrating, like, they did with Bleach and hype, Shigaraki and All for One to be like the most overpowered and overarching villain in the whole series, and then there's something else that we didn't know about.
Oh yeah, I don't know. I mean, at this point though, everything's freaking released. If there's anything out there that's more powerful than All for One, who has ties across the entire globe, then
oh, man, yeah.
I mean, that's what we thought about Bleach.
No, Bleach was just Aizen was just the strongest in Soul Society. We just thought that all of the Quincy's were dead.
Yeah, Yeah, and I don't know, I felt like that with Bleach because he was said to be like, the strongest enemy and being in the universe just because of like all the power that he was able to obtain. But we're not talking about that right now.
Yeah.
1,000 Year Blood War arc coming out soon, y'all. Super excited. Later on this year. It's gonna be amazing. But yes, we're gonna dive into My Hero first, guys. And before we get any further, if you are watching on the YouTube channel, please be sure to subscribe. Hit that follow bell just so that you guys can get notifications whenever we are going live or any videos that we upload from other recordings. Help out that algorithm and share the love and support and leave a comment below. We greatly appreciate it. But to get into My Hero, the beginning, like when the moment you open the chapter up and the page there is Toga, I was like, cool. I bet this is going to be a little bit about Toga because why else would you have her on the front? It wasn't a lot of detail, but it was still kind of cool because it started off with just us going back to her hometown, her going back to her home, and we got to see just how much people did not like her or really her family, and obviously we knew her family kind of like shooed her away because of her weird blood quirk. But you get to also see how much like other people in the community didn't like her, just like writing all of these slanderous things on her house, on her bedroom, and just on the corner of the street, all that stuff.
It's like, man, it's just because all she wants to do, like, she didn't choose this power, which is always like the weird part of it. And like the power just came to her. She just happened to have a power that you have to have blood for in order to copy somebody's ability. And I don't know if that drives her or she's just like still trying to figure herself out at the same time. Because I know she's bad just because like, yeah, she sucks blood and does everything, but I think she chose to go because I think I said this like a couple of Manga Chapter reviews ago, or it might have been like one of her first ones. But I think like she's just trying to find herself, and she's just with the wrong group, I believe. Like because
they're the only ones, just like twice. They're the only ones that would accept her.
Yeah, it's like I don't think she believes in like what they're doing, like trying to literally take over the world. But I think she's just almost like dug in too much. She's in too deep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's kind of like the overarching theme of this chapter was kind of the League of Villain characters that we go over today are all kind of like we're at a point where we're too far. Like there is no turning back. Like that is the kind of the theme for this chapter. Like, are you ready for the next step? And everyone's like, it's too late to ask that. We're already here.
Yeah, we already dug these graves. We already, pretty much shot the gun. We just got to deal with the consequences. Like,
Yep.
But yeah, it does suck because Toga is like such a caring and empathetic person that we see. And like, her power is really just misunderstood that, hey, just because she had to suck blood. And, she found a lot of beauty in it, but that was just like how she was born to like interpret the world. And just people couldn't accept that. So it's really society's fault that it had to come to a crash because of Toga's part in this whole thing.
And then
her dream really weirded me out. I'm not gonna lie to y'all though.
Yeah.
Like there was a crow like dancing on my stomach, and then it would Red Sparrow dancing on my stomach, and then it tore open my stomach and was dancing inside of me, and I loved it. I was like, what the hell? While she's like sleep biting herself, like her pleasuring herself is like biting herself in her dream, and I was like, all of this is strange. So I completely understand how society reacted when you can see like this is just kind of things that she did when she was younger and like enjoyed those type of dreams and stuff. But again, it's part of her quirk. It's just like it's what her quirk made her to be. And unfortunately, her family couldn't find like a positive route to take with it. They were instead disgusted by her or like feared her, and that took her down the League of Villains path.
Just, I think she needs to see a psychiatrist for some reason. just a little bit of a one. Like, let them help you.
But who else needs to see a psychiatrist would be her good old friend that showed up randomly.
Yeah, Dabi. He has some very deep-rooted family trauma that he needs to, work through and get over.
He needs to write a book or something.
He needs to go on a hike. you know what? He just needs to go out and try to be one with nature and not burn everything to the ground.
I was gonna say he's been on hikes and he's burned mountains down during.
Yeah, so he needs to be like in a place where he just can't use his power, because I feel like, I don't know. It's just, I feel like his power is so destructive to himself that he just has so little regard for anyone else because of it. He's like, hey, I'm hurt by this too, so might as well make the world burn with me.
What was cool was that he blew up her home.
That was messed up.
Yeah, like it completely took me off guard when he did it. But then she was also kind of like, thank you. Like, thank you for doing that, which is really strange. But I mean, I guess I see why they did it. And it was funny that she was kind of like, now you're gonna get us caught. And he was like, they don't have the juice to come catch us. Like, I loved the little slang he threw in there, but it was also just like their society does not have enough right now to come to us. Like, I can burn down this whole block and continue walking with no problem because there's not enough people here to try to stop me.
Yeah, the hero society is lacking. They can barely hang on right now. Like, we're really in a powerful position.
They're the ones on top right now, and then probably the biggest reveal, or I guess second biggest reveal. I mean, I thought before the second part, but the blood that Dabi took right before.
I think that's the biggest reveal. Yeah.
He took twice his blood and is like, oh, wait, we can still use his power. Like, his power is not dead. Like, he is still with us.
Yeah, and that was also good.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say that was also like a super like heart-wrenching moment when Twice died, and I was like, oh, not Twice. Like, I like Twice so much. He's like such a fun guy. Like, I feel like he is a kind of a better, like, just internally better, like, Deadpool type character, just because of how like funny he is, but also like super deadly and destructive he is.
But, and very mentally unstable.
Very mentally unstable. Well, yeah, because Dabi, pretty much said to us, or it was said to us in the chapter, how she's able to start using people's quirks, because we saw her starting to learn how to use Ochako's quirk and stuff during the Liberation Army part, and so it is just pretty much if that person is close to Toga's heart, she can also then activate their quirk ability. Instead of just being them, she can use their quirk when she has their blood. And we know how close her and Twice were, pretty much the closest in the League of Villains. So for him to be like, right before we got taken away, I was able to take some of the blood from his real body, and now Toga has his blood. Like, that just opens up so many opportunities now for the League of Villains, because like that was the reason Hawks had to kill Twice, was because it was like, we cannot have you. There's just too much that you could do. We cannot have you. We can't allow you to live. So for Toga to be like, well, now I have his blood, so we can still do these things without Twice. It kind of makes it like, damn, kind of a waste that Twice had to die. Also, villains or the heroes definitely won't be expecting this. Yeah, it's just a lot.
And because Dabi said he went to Twice's body after he was killed to get the blood, right?
Yeah, right before Giganto Makia came to like take them all away, he found the real body and took the blood from the real body.
Also, like, I'm thinking, like, how is that blood still good? I'm just thinking of like a scientific sense of it. Is like, has this blood been, refrigerated, and like, what would stop those cells from decaying, like in that little vial?
Yeah, I think that's what she has on her waistband. I think is a little like fridge, because when she pops it open, you can see like when she pops it open, like the cold air comes out of it.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Cool. Didn't notice that before.
But then the chapter spans over to the hideout with Shigaraki, All for One, and the rest of the League of Villains in that tunnel. And it finally gives us more on Spinner. I mean, clearly not Spinner's past. We still don't know his past. But we talked about before how Spinner, it has just kind of been there. Like, he joined the League of Villains because he was a fan of Stain, and he thought Stain was with the League of Villains, so that's why he came to the League of Villains. And even though Stain was a hero, was the hero killer, but he didn't dislike heroes. He just wanted there to be he just wanted people to be true heroes, whatever the whole philosophy was there. So Stain didn't really have a point or purpose, in my opinion, to be in the League of Villains. And now they're finally giving him like a mission.
Yeah, and I mean they're kind of using him as like the poster boy for like the injustice that
heteromorphs
heteromorphs have had, like, you know,
it's just weird because
propagated against them just for like looking like animals or just different than normal humans with quirks.
It's just weird because like they're making him to be like more of like a messiah kind of for the heteromorphs, and he's like I will be it because you want me to be it, but I'm not choosing this because this is not my choice.
Yeah, it's also interesting because like I feel like we haven't really seen that like portrayed in the society other than what they've told us. Like they're telling us this happened, but like literally for as much as I've seen, like anyone that had a quirk that made them like look different, like the guy that can talk to the principal, the guy that can talk to animals, Gang Orca, like there have been so many characters that we've seen that literally just don't look human, and like it just seems like, hey, they're just a normal member of society and nothing else matters. Like people know people have quirks and it does different things to their bodies.
Wait a minute. I guess let's backtrack on that and then I'll think about it. Because the people that we just named were all heroes. People who were high enough to be ranked as heroes or the principal of a big hero school compared to normal citizens. If you're a normal citizen.
Like when they were in school, like I felt like there were weird looking kids that went to school with Bakugo and Midoriya. And Bakugo, I felt like, had some of them in his like posse, and I didn't feel like he got treated any different than, you know, anyone else.
I'll have to go try to look back at his kids because I know like the difference with that is it just like a part of you is turned like Froppy, where really it's just like her tongue is kind of frog-like compared to Spinner, who is literally a lizard. Because just like that one, like the really tall, like deer-looking chick that Midoriya saved when he was going rogue. Like when she was like when he found her, normal people were like trying to kill her because she looked different.
Yeah, it's just weird.
Now, I was gonna go to like to the last 2 pages of that whole heteromorphs thing, like showing some of the heteromorphs that are standing around that they're gonna try to get Spinner to lead, essentially, is that the one on top of the building looks like the dude. I don't know how caught up you are in One Punch Man, but Matt.
Oh yeah, he looks like the guy
ugly guy
who literally the worse he gets, the more stronger he gets.
Yeah, he looks just like that.
Yeah, he does. I got a little flashback of like, oh, I hope it's not like that again.
Also, like double or not double, but twice. He also kind of makes me think of like Golden Spermazoid, or the Spermazoid Man.
Yeah,
because like his duplication is just crazy, but.
Some of these guys are really cool. It looks like one of them kind of looks like the wood guy, the wood hero, but like a bigger version.
Honestly,
the guy with the tentacles is creepy.
And the one with the claws that's like standing on his arms.
Yeah.
Like he makes me think of a Nomu though.
Same.
Because that's the first thing I thought, honestly, when I saw him. I was like, oh, Nomu.
But the biggest badass is the guy in the back with the 3 spikes on his hair and the katana.
Yeah.
Like, I want to see that guy.
Oh yeah. Like I want to know the ones that we can actually see, like that. Actually, I don't want to see the ugly guy, but that's because of One Punch Man. But that's the claws, the katana, and then the tentacles. And then it's just weird how they it's kind of creepy, like how they end off the chapter too. It's like just remember this: you can always be someone's hero. Like you don't have to be a good guy in order to be a hero.
Yeah,
that's a very relative term.
That's Awful One's way of manipulating people. Yep. Tell them what they want to hear.
You gotta get the people what they want.
Oh, hold on. Before I try to move on, I do want to know what that quirk is that Awful One stated Shigaraki was trying to master.
Oh, the Bangs Stars and Stripes quirk.
No, because that's called New Order.
He did say something else. Okay, I thought it was New Order. That's what.
Doomsday Theory.
Yeah.
I want to know what the hell that is, because that sounds very ominous.
Doomsday, ominous, never.
Yeah.
You say that, I know. Yeah.
And then because it did look really weird because you saw all those arms coming out of the tunnel and then being slurped back into the tunnel and back into Shigaraki as he's recovering and doing whatever. It's that quirk looks really, really strange. We'll see.
It's gonna be weird because Shigaraki doesn't need another power up. He's already powerful enough.
Literally his decay power is literally terrifying, and the fact that they're just adding to it is just ridiculous.
Yeah, they're let's just make him even more powerful.
Mm-hmm.
How powerful can you get? More powerful.
That, and it's just gonna be that much better when he gets rescued by Deku.
No. Something tells me that might happen, and I don't want it to. Kill him. Kill him immediately.
Yeah, he just I know he's a product of everything that All for One has done, but he needs to die. He just killed too many people. He's been too much of a liability.
Yeah, it's funny. I'm kind of in that part with Assassin's Creed right now, where there's a mission and they were oh, this one guy, he put this high bounty on you, and one person's telling me we need to kill him because he's a part of the cult, and somebody else is no, the cult's just controlling him. You need to break his ties from the cult. And I'm no.
They're really a liability because this could happen again.
Yeah, I'm going to kill him. Absolutely.
Oh, what was his name again? I'm gonna murder him.
Yeah. Tell me where he is. Don't worry. I'll handle this.
I'll make it look like an accident.
Oh man, guys. But yeah, that is the end of the current My Hero chapter. It's gonna be pretty cool. I'm really excited about it, and just them finally starting to pick the pace back up. We focus on the heroes for a while. This is probably gonna be maybe 2 or 3 chapters on the villains, and then hopefully we can get to the actual war.
Yeah,
because it's also on a break this week, if I'm not mistaken, or next week.
Next week. Yeah, next week is going into a break. It'll just be nice to see some actual progression in the story. There's been a lot of planning, a lot of uncovering, because we've been finding out a lot about Aoyama and his deception of the Hero Society, and that he was the undercover, rat for the villains. And so it'll just be good to see how the story progresses, what the heroes decide to do, and see this battle and war get into way.
Get to the meat.
I know.
Give me the meat and the potatoes.
I've had the vegetables, so give me my dessert.
Oh man. But we can move right on over to the good old Black Clover.
Whoop whoop.
Black Clover chapter 320. And the way that 319 ended was all of the some of the Magic Knight captains, trying to attack Lucifer and him dodging, and then Asta kind of appearing out of nowhere directly behind him. So this chapter starts off with Asta swinging and missing, but part of his sword did get one of the horns, and it cut the horn off, and that pissed Lucifer off.
I love it whenever a bad guy gets hit for the first time. He just looks at what just happened and then just goes mad rage mode right away.
It's you dare make me bleed?
You just hit me. Ah!
Hard.
He caught him a filthy rat, and then he just palmed him so hard into the earth. And it's you can just see the earth crumbling, and also losing consciousness. He was not playing. He was so mad about being just touched by Asta.
You dare touch me?
Trash, magical scum.
Yeah, and then we have the Magic Knights come in. So one of the blue Pegasus? No.
Well, it starts off with my girl Mira Leona coming in with a jab from the gods. It didn't do nothing, but she still came in on bumpers. She's ready. And I love that shit. I love that she's always ready to go. She came in by herself, all gas, no brakes.
All facts, no printer.
It did literally nothing to him, but she came in.
It's like they know they can't do anything to him, but they have to still like they're still protecting Asta through and through, and even though they have to just keep on trying. And yeah, none of your punches are working, but just keep on punching.
And then Charlotte saves Asta, and
Jack gets
the I had it and I lost it.
Dream Girl.
Yeah, but I had her guild name and I lost, or her name and I lost, like the magic name, and I lost it. Oh well. Purple peacocks. I think that the peacocks. But yeah, they came in and just like what he did before, Lucifer's just kind of running through everybody like trash. You guys can't do anything, nothing works. But they understand that Asta's anti-magic works, and so they're like, we need to keep him safe.
Mm-hmm. And they're just getting wrecked left and right. Man. Was it the Silva? Silva's like, I got this. I as a royal, as a high-standing society, as a captain of the Magic Knights, you will not get to Asta. Lucifer, just one punch.
That's been like the most enjoyable thing out of all this so far, is just how they all keep stepping up. Like, I must protect Asta, or I can't do this, or I can't let Asta show me up. Like, Jack wants to get the whole peasant thing out, and good thing is Silva was like, it's not about that. Even as a peasant, he showed me, yada yada yada. But all of them just trying to run up on Lucifer, and he's just like, smack away, punch away, like, knocking them out left and right like it's nothing. All for the goal of just like, give me back the kid. Like, I have to kill the kid.
He damaged me. I gotta murder him.
It's like, you like little peons of magic captains aren't gonna get in my way. Like.
And then, do we know who the other devil was that's just sitting on the side?
No, that's just, I think it was a second gate devil that just like escaped with the other devils a while ago, but hasn't been doing anything. It's just been chilling. So I feel like that devil's gonna have a big part to play later on, because it has been observing this fight for a while now. It has just been commentating. It hasn't gone to attack anyone. And I think at one point it was like rooting a little bit for like the humans to do some stuff. So,
like, I don't know. He just seems like he wants to be entertained. Like, he doesn't really care what happens either way. He knows Lucifer is like the strongest, so he's just like, yeah, I mean, Lucifer's gonna win. It's a foregone conclusion, but it'd be cool if like they look like they could take him on.
And then right at the end, Lucifer gets right over Asta. He's like, "It's you. You're the reason for all of this. Gonna go kill him." And when you're on that panel, it's like, okay, Asta's about to be crushed, about to be stepped on. We know he's not going to die. So who's gonna save him?
You know.
You know it was gonna be
No. Of course, and just looks actually pretty badass in the final scene with Mimosa there, just like all healed up from his fight with Dante. Just ready for the next challenge ahead, and he knows that Asta's needs to be back in the fight with them. They need to do the same thing against the first devil. What was the first ever devil they did? Is going to throw, like mad flashback vibes with that.
The one that was talking. They had the talk magic.
Yes.
I forgot that one's name.
Do the research.
But yeah, I thought it was very interesting because when he came in, you did see you saw the stars there, and that's how you knew. You were like, okay, Asta's not there. There's that star there. It's here now, and he's got like that veil around him with Mimosa. She's healing up Asta.
Zagred is the name. Zagred Zagurado. Zagurado?
Yeah. He used his power wrong. He should have said die, and everybody would have died.
Facts.
He's a more powerful word curse energy guy.
But man, that chapter just went by way too quick. I knew when I was reading it, like, I think it's one year away, but I looked down, it's like, this is probably gonna be like another 10-second chapter kind of thing. Like, it's just a page turner from page turner.
Black Clover. That's how Black Clover is, but I think also because a lot of this is not words. If you really look at what's going on, it's just nothing but action. Like the words that are being said are pretty much just Lucifer saying "vanish," "scum," "pathetic," like pretty much one word to one sentence things being said left and right. And that's why it's just so easy to flip through because there's no context, so there's no reading. It's literally just like, okay, he got punched. Okay, he got punched. Okay, they're having a combo attack with the dragon. Okay, they got punched. Like,
And I cut somebody on this island. It's like, oh man, they're really getting worked. We can just say they're getting worked.
Yeah, the most talking that was done in this chapter was pretty much done by that other devil that's just watching. That's who spoke the most in this chapter.
I think that was the longest sentence in the chapter too. That's it.
But I love it. I mean, Black Clover knows what it's about. You don't really have to talk too much to see a good action scene. So we all know how it happens. You know, your main character gets to the brink of death while they're fighting their like big, anti-villain or the biggest antagonist they're gonna fight, and then they're gonna die or get severely injured, and then someone is gonna come in at the last minute and save them. We all know what's gonna happen, like with Asta at the beginning of the chapter.
Well, here's the fun thing though. Obviously, is here and healthy again with Belle, and they're gonna, do their wind magic in their star magic to try to fight Lucifer for the time being. But as we've seen, magic doesn't really work on Lucifer, so they need Asta. At the same time, what's the deal with Vengeance and Yami? Because they have been freed. They just have to be healed. So is someone healing them? Because I remember, I know the Black Bulls took Yami, and I think someone took William. So like, are they being healed up? Is Chami feeding Yami all the food because her food recovers their magic? So is she feeding him in the backstage? And another healer is healing up, Vengeance, William, and then we'll get both of them to also return to the battlefield. Like, is that where we're about to see? Like, where are they at currently? Because there's no way that Asta and can win this fight with just them. Or maybe there is, but like they're gonna need help. And I think it's important that William and Yami join the fight for this last devil.
I think they're gonna have some way to get the devils back to the demon dimension, and I don't think that can be done without Yami. Especially because he cuts dimensions. So
Yami. I just want to say Yami is like dark magic, and I think that can I'm guessing that can hurt the devil since it's not really magic, also. But it's gonna be weird to see. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun to see. And this is like where we want my hero to be. It's like we're in the action. We're in the meat and potatoes here.
Yeah, shit's hitting the fan here, and it's at the climax really. So. But yeah, a short chapter. But that's again not a short chapter, a quick chapter. It's 15 pages. It's just like we said, not a lot of words. It's just really a lot of action. So there's not a ton to really dive into because it is like we said, so much of just all the captains coming in and trying to attack, and Lucifer just being like, brushing it all off. So then I feel like the next couple of chapters would be cool. There is no break, so we will have another chapter next week. So we'll get to see more about, is it going to be versus Lucifer while Asta gets healed up right now? Or are they going to also throw in Yami and William? Or like, what's our next step here? So we'll learn more about that in 7 days.
Yeah. Hell yeah. You're excited. It's like Sundays are great days.
There's never a bad weekend unless all three mangas, or all four at this point, are on a hiatus.
Sure. And hiatus, just they're not performing or.
Honestly, I'd take an under for performing manga chapter than it being on hiatus. At least I get more information.
I could agree to that. Silence your phone.
I know Michael's calling and it's like, God, let him know.
But all right, guys. Last but not least, definitely not least, is JJK, chapter 172. 171 left off with Fushiguro and Reggie in a fight. It's now just them 1v1, and Fushiguro, as we learned, has a domain expansion. It's an incomplete domain expansion, and that's kind of why Reggie wasn't able to counter like he thought he could counter. But when it left off, Reggie understood that Fushiguro is taking the weight of his shadow domain expansion, and that's affecting his literal body. So Reggie tried to drop houses and cars to weigh him down, and Fushiguro dropped an elephant on Reggie.
Mm-hmm.
Now this chapter, yeah,
3-ton elephant.
This chapter starts off with the whole like going into the whole science behind it. Typically, they say that on average humans lose consciousness at 5 to 6 units of G-force, and how right now Fushiguro is actually experiencing, what did they say?
He said it was, I think, 30 tons.
Like he's
they were saying 2.4. Oh yeah, so they're saying he's being subjected to 40 units of G-force right now. Yeah. Humans typically lose consciousness at 5 to 6, and he's experiencing 40.
Yeah, but they're saying the way he's dispersing his curse energy to support his lower body, and he's also putting all the stress on his lower limbs. So he's just taking the pressure away from any other vital portion of his body, which just adds to Fushiguro's genius.
Mm-hmm. Just like putting all the blood flow to the legs to help him stay conscious during this time.
Because right now it's literally who will pass out first. Like Reggie with an actual 6-ton elephant dropped directly on him that he's having to keep held up, or Fushiguro and his domain expansion with all the other tons and tons of weight that's on him. Yeah. Like who will pass out first? And obviously, and I like the good old X-ray vision we got when it's showing Reggie's ankles and tibulas and stuff, or fibula breaking because of the elephant.
It's a lot of action. Then they go to like, I just love like them explains like he's like Reggie's like, oh, I have to do something. If not, I'm gonna get crushed first. And this is just a game of chicken, a giant game of chicken. But then like it's kind of serious. But then they do like the little face cartoons, like, oh, I gotta do this. Like on page 4, the little face is like, oh, this is how this is gonna turn out.
Yeah, drop the elephant, kill Fushiguro.
Yeah. It's like, get out of here, get his points, and I'm good.
But then he's like contemplating on what's going to happen. Like if he goes into the shadows, it's like, hey, he isn't dispelling it. So why isn't he dispelling it? So maybe it's a trap to get me into his shadows. And then if I go into the shadows and I kill him, maybe I can't get out of the shadows. So he's like, oh shit, I might not need to do that.
So many mind games going on right now.
Yeah, like I feel like the culling games is just like the biggest game of chess within a game of chess within a game of chess. Like, just to figure out what.
Even make an alliance, you can just be like, oh yeah, I quit this alliance, murder.
Yeah, you've got got 5 points. Some true genius sorcerers having to duke it out.
Yeah, it's like, well, because you got to figure out the rules of the culling game while that's going on, and then like while you're in these fights to the death, you got to figure out your opponent's, curse energy or what the rules of it are exactly. It's just like
But Reggie decides, he was like, fuck it, I'm still gonna do this. I'm gonna dip into like the shadow, activate this contract or whatever. And right when that happens, he is in the shadow and he's drowning. He's like, I'm drowning. He's like, there's no oxygen, there's no buoyancy, like I can't move, I can't swim, I can't do anything. I'm just falling into nothingness and losing consciousness. And obviously Fushiguro's at the top, like, hold on, duke it out, stay strong, wait till he's definitely dead, and then we can like break all of this. But then out of nowhere, Reggie gets hit with the car to the top of the surface and breaks out.
He's just getting lucky. He's like, oh yeah, that was cool that I actually had that in my hand and it actually saved my life for this situation. Like just some bullshit, man.
The one time you'd be okay getting hit with a car.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, he admitted, he was like, Fushiguro, you're strong, but I'm stronger. Or so he thought. He's like, he drops a freaking, 30 ton home.
2-story home. I don't know why that was needed to be said. It's like, oh yeah, I had this giant house coming to you. It's at least 30 tons, and it's 2-story wooden structure.
Yeah, I love. Thanks for the detail. Can you tell me more about the interior? Is this
3 bedrooms, fully furnished, open floor plan,
2.5 baths,
granite countertops?
It's like a Victorian or
contemporary, modern. Like, where were we talking here? Farmhouse?
Are the appliances stainless steel, or are they just like white appliances? Like, I need to know these things.
Gas or electric stove?
And all of a sudden, but all of a sudden, Reddy's drowning again, and he's like, "What the hell?" Like, how? And
like, I'm actually.
I am actually drowning? Like, he's like, "Oh, how did I get back in the shadows?" Like, I'm not in the shadows. I'm actually drowning.
Oh wait, it wasn't a gym. I forgot that we're fighting actually in a gym because he uses domain, and it wasn't underneath the gym other than a heated pool. Why? But why does that matter? That the pool is heated. It's the detail that we don't need. Though. I know. It's like there's a pool underneath the gym, not that there's a heated pool under the gym. There's a pool under the gym.
Mm-hmm. Oh man.
Oh, it just says there's a pool here, but in the
scan
it said it was like a heated pool.
Okay. Heated saltwater pool.
So I mean, tons of action in this because then we've now had 3 games of chicken. We've had the actual weight crushing. We've had, is Reggie going to go into the shadow or not? Then he goes into the shadow. So then it's like, who's going to survive? Can Fushiguro stay in the domain while Reggie's being drowned in the shadow? And then it's now like, okay, well, now we're in an actual pool. Who's going to die first in the actual pool? Like 3 games of chicken in one fight. And just for them to both end up being back on the surface of the waters. I don't know why Megami let him go and let him get back to the surface, get back on the pool.
I think because I think he thinks that Reggie thinks that what they're battling. I know I just said a bunch of weird ways, but Reggie is thinking what Fushiguro is thinking, but Fushiguro is already thinking what Reggie's thinking of what he's thinking. Right, and that's why he's in the water, so he can't use his paper.
But in the actual water, they were both in the water together, and Megami was choking him out in the pool. And then all of a sudden...
Oh, that's right. Okay, yeah. I didn't see that first time. I thought he was just...
Yeah, so he was like choking him... Oh, go ahead.
I was like, I think he brought him back to the surface because, I mean, Megumi can't also... He just can't also hold his breath forever either. That or... Actually, I don't know how Reggie got out.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like Megami let him go, and then Megami got to the surface, so then Reggie swam back up and got to the surface, and Megami was like, your paper's wet, you can't use it now.
I think he might got to the surface, and that's how the dog got out there first, because he's like, Reggie's like, oh, you're too tired. Like, you just use a domain expansion, use all your Shinigami inside the domain. You probably don't have any power left. And Megumi's like, yeah, sure, let's go with that.
Yeah, so we're just going to have to duke it out like real men, the physical fight. And then, he's still, thinking about how he can counter and use another contract or a curse technique. At least Reggie is.
And then, that's not, when did Fushiguro get his sword?
He can pull them. I think he can pull those out of his shadow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because that was like the one thing Reggie talked about in the very beginning is when he understood that Fushiguro only had one weapon in his shadow, and that's when he was like, "Oh, it must be a weight thing," and that's kind of how he understood what was going on in the domain expansion. So yeah, Fushiguro has a weapon or weapons in his shadow.
It just looks like it. It reminded me of Nanami's sword.
Yeah.
At least. Yeah. I don't think it's the same one though.
I don't either. Because it's not wrapped and it has a point. Nanami's, I think, had a flat top or a flat edge to it.
R.I.P.
Yeah. Plenty of curse weapons out there, boys. But yeah, what was pretty cool is, now they are in hand-to-hand combat, and obviously Reddy's also a hand-to-hand combat specialist, who's also waiting for Megami because he doesn't believe that Megami's out of what's the actual term? Shikigamis? Yeah, Shikigamis. And so he's like, I don't think he's actually out of them. I'm going to wait for him to try to summon another one. And in that opening, when he goes to summon it, is when I'll finish his fight. But he forgot that the divine dog was still somewhere. Because it wasn't that the divine dog was summoned when Megumi got out of the pool first. The divine dog was summoned way early on in the beginning of their fight, and that's when Reggie stabbed the divine dog and thought he killed the divine dog. But that wasn't the case. And that's why Megumi was like, it takes a lot more than that to take out the divine dog. And so he was like caught off guard, and divine dog took out a nice little chunk of Reggie's face and shoulder.
Well, I think it took off his ear. And yeah, you see his ear falling off, and
ear and collarbone.
Yeah,
and
even though like when he turns, like it almost looked like half his face is gone. But I know that's just because he's turned that way.
That was so satisfying. Actually, it's like cool. This fight's wrapping up too.
Yeah, it's been carrying on for way too long. But also, like I feel like the divine dog has been killed before. At least like one of them in a different fight.
Yeah, they had the black and the white one, and the white one was killed in the fight when they went to go in that school, and they found it was like the first special grade they had to fight. The first time that Sukuna was summoned by Yuji.
Yes, that is right. Okay.
And then he did something to like have them combine or something to get it stronger.
Yeah, and it's also like kind of funny at the end of this that he's like, yeah, I didn't have to worry about it might be any other Shikigami other than the divine dog, or other than the dog. And then what is it that gets him? The dog.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, you completely forgot about it. You just dismissed the dog as if it was nothing. Nope. Been here the whole time waiting. You playing checkers while I'm playing chess.
I'm already 10 moves ahead, so. But overall, some very good chapters this week. Very satisfied.
It's good. Like we're moving on from JJK, Black Clovers, and Meat Potatoes, and My Hero's setting up. I'm very excited for all the next week, and then we'll have One Piece next week too. We'll have everything but My Hero.
Yeah. Gosh, it's crazy that My Hero and Black Clover I had almost the same amount of chapters. And it's crazy. They're both, they seem to be wrapping up, but have done it in a very. I feel like Black Clover we've experienced so much, but at the same time with My Hero we've experienced so much as well. It's good to see the progression of these two stories.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm loving it, man. But it's even more excited because One Piece is back next week.
Gosh, and we finally got to see that fight with Luffy and Kaido.
My boy Zoro taking out King. Kaido and Luffy doing their thing. Us learning that there's a secret name and a different name to a devil fruit, and all the theories around that. Someone was like, because they said there's a giant shadow on because it was interesting because they were saying that there's a giant shadow on the sea, and then we see Zunisha, but what people were pointing out was that Zunisha was behind them, and they saw a shadow in front of them that wasn't Zunisha's shadow. So now we have to figure out what those two shadows are, and then people were like, well, remember Marco did say he saw a shadow on the sea at one point. So what is this shadow? And then people were saying it's the devil fruit that they were talking about. The Zunisha's devil fruit, but then people were like, no, it's not Zunisha. Is it that Luffy's devil fruit isn't actually the Gomu Gomu no Mi, but a different name for his devil fruit? So I'm excited because of all the theories that happened because of 2 pages of a chapter.
Because when I was reading last week, at least I remember it's like, why are they going to the world government right at the end of the chapter? Like, what's really this about? Like, give us the meat and potatoes, Kaido versus Luffy. We finally get this, and then they're like, oh. Knowledge bomb, real quick.
Actually cuts back to Reverie, so we can figure out what's still going on there. So, because that's still up in the air. Whatever is going on with the Revolutionary Army's island is still up in the air. And what Jesus Burgess did there. He just keeps living us on a cliffhanger.
So freaking excited, y'all.
Same.
Well, I think that wraps up the review for you guys all today. I'm glad you all came and stopped by. Be sure to follow us on our social media. If you are already on the YouTube, then you know what that is for YouTube. Those of you who aren't on YouTube, we are Anime Feast on YouTube as well as on Twitter, and we are The Anime Feast on Instagram. Be sure to give us a follow. Tell your friends and your family about us. Whether you're listening to us on Anchor, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or any other service out there, we appreciate your support. And until next time.
Stay hungry, my friends.
Peace.
Peace.